Yeah, just to throw it out there, the driving range, I don't know if you guys just want to let me know. This is the question for today, driving range sessions. How do you tackle your driving range? Like, what do you do? Okay, let's work off the fact that you've got 100 balls plus. So nothing less than 100 balls. So if you're going to buy 2 buckets of 50, let's put it as such. What do you do when you hit the driving range? Like, what is your plan of action for the driving range? And how do you tackle it? What do you do? Let's think of something like maybe the world of golf, where it's unlimited golf balls in range and you name it. Let's just, for argument's sake, say that we've got a launch monitor / in range radar system that can track and trace our golf ball distance and so forth. Let's see. This is the question for today's putting corner. How do you break up your driving range session? We're working off a bucket of 100 balls plus. So this could be a normal standard 100 balls that you purchase as a bucket, or 2 buckets of 50 that's added together, whatever the case may be. 100 balls standard, that's our benchmark. And if your driving range offers unlimited golf balls for a certain period of time, what is your take on your driving range session and how do you manage that? What do you do? What is your plan of action when you get to the driving range session? For my short game, I actually work on that majority of the time at home. And the reason for that is you will actually see why I do it at home and not necessarily specifically at the driving range, because it is incorporated in my routine that I actually follow there. So what actually happens is that at home it's putting indoors. And I know some people think yoga mat, wow, that's just a bit strange, that's just a bit weird, and it's just a bit out there and off the top. But yeah, it's given me some feedback, it's given me some confidence, because it's got like a medium to fast pace green that you can work with. The other thing is that yes, I'm in the process of actually sourcing a normal putting practice mat for indoors. Now I'm still looking to see which one would it be. Would it be the one with the putting cup up the top where the ball returns to you automatically, also taking into account that we've got that little slope that we need to get up on? Would that be skewing the data a bit, hitting up onto that slope and the ball curving and so forth? So I don't know, it's just a bit weird. I prefer flat putting surface, because we obviously putt on a flat putting surface. So I'm trying to get a mat that has all the markers on it and maybe put a cup at the end. I don't necessarily need the luxury of the ball returning to me unless I've got a putting cup that can do that. But once again, that putting cup has a little ramp on it, and I just don't feel comfortable hitting it in that like putting in that nature. If you've seen my driving range footage from earlier posts that I've done and lives I've had, I tend to go to the Albatross driving range quite often, because it's number one, closer to home. Number two, it's more cost effective for me. And number three, this is the main reason I love going to a driving range where I'm limited to a certain number of golf balls. So at the normal driving range, I can take my full bag of clubs and go wild and do what I want to do. However, obviously, like I said, at the World of Golf Unlimited Balls, that is where we work on finesse, that is where we work on skill training, making sure we gauge distance, making sure we've got 20 to 30 shots per club, maybe, just to see that average when we get home and we export that data. If you're a numbers person and if that drives you to know what you're doing with your clubs and to perfect your game, World of Golf is for you if you're in South Africa. And if you've got that facility elsewhere, if you're joining us from around the world and you've got a facility where they offer unlimited balls, I would say then let's do that rather. If you are limited to golf balls, so what I do is I see at the driving range I normally go to, they have buckets of 80. So I'll take 2 buckets of 80. So yeah, so at the driving range now they're going to be putting in buckets of 50. So this will make it a bit easier for me. So I just get 2 buckets of 50 and that's fine. And my daughter will have a bucket of 80 that she will go through and mess around with and do her training drills with. So this is where my little vision comes in. So if you've got pen and paper ready with you, or if you just want to take a mental note of this, this is how I break down a driving range session if I've got 100 balls. However, you can also do this with fewer golf balls, but I would prefer that if it's 100 golf balls, it's just a round number, and you'll see the reason why I'm making it that round number. So 100 golf balls works as follows. So you're going to separate 72. Now I know we don't have time to get to the driving range and still pull out and count out numbers of golf balls. So the easiest way is take out 28 golf balls, right? Push 28 golf balls to the side. The other 72, just divide them in half, 36 one side, 36 one side. So if you've got pen and paper with you, or if you're taking mental notes, just remember what I do at the driving range. This has worked for me. This has helped me a little bit. It might help you. Like I said, what works for me might not necessarily work for you. Topic of discussion today. Everyone has their own approach of what they do at the driving range. So you've got 28 golf balls one side. Now you've got your 72 and you split them in half. Now the reason it's 72, because remember, when we go golfing, the golf course is a par 72. So that means we've got 72 shots in total. That's 72 golf balls right there. But we're going to get back to that. So you've got 28 golf balls on the one side. So obviously, if we now say 28 divided by the 13 clubs in your golf bag, that means 2 of your clubs will get 3 shots each, and the other 12 will get 2 shots each. Right? That's your warm-up. That's just to get into the motion. So you take 2 shots each with each club. I don't cheat on that. It's 2 shots and I go back to the bag and get the other club. So remember, at the driving range, we cannot putt because we're driving. It's all irons, woods, and drivers. That's it. Right. Okay, but anyway, 2 shots per club. Let's just leave it at that. Easy math. Now we get to the 72 golf balls. The reason we split them in half is because if we want to become good golfers, go from average to good golfers, we want to 2-putt at least average, right? So we're going to leave it at an average of 2 putts. So if we said 2 putts per hole, now remember, par 3 you're on in 1, 2 putts, it's a par, right? I'm happy with that, and most of us would be happy with that. We've now got our 28 balls, we've done our warm-up, so we've got the other 72, we've split them in half. That's our par 72 to hit the perfect round of golf, to break even on the golf course. So now we've got 36 balls on the one side and we've got 36 on the other side. If you divide 36 by 2 putts per hole, you get 18 holes. So you've separated those golf balls. Let's put them aside. Now the other 36 golf balls. So if you think about it, you have 36 shots to get onto every green within regulation. This includes, so most golf courses have 4 par 5s, 4 par 3s, and 10 par 4s. So think about it. Par 3, if there's 4 of them, you've got 1 shot, 1 shot, 1 shot, 1 shot. Right? So providing you've hit that ball accurately to your target, where you've set out for yourself at the driving range, your par 3s are then covered with 1 shot each, which means you're left with 32 golf balls. So your par 5s, on the other hand, the 4 of them, you may, depending on your shot, your accuracy, your distance. So how it will work is that, let's say out of those 36 golf balls, you tee off on a par 5, for example. In your mind, you don't even have to lie to yourself. You can actually take your course guide from a previous round that you've played. So let's say you played a golf course in Jeffreys Bay, Sean, or TC, you've played a golf course at ERPM. So, or wherever it may be. And this is a golf course where you maybe struggled with, or whatever the case. Maybe you shot your, the highest round ever. You couldn't get below 100 or whatever it may be. You look at those virtual, you basically build those the holes virtually in your mind. And you say, okay, fine. This course layout shows me that I need to hit, it's a dog leg left for this par 5, a slight dog leg left. There's water, so we try and picture where these obstacles would be at the driving range and try and place the ball exactly where it wants to be. A lot of people say, oh no, you can't, a driving range won't work the same as a golf course because there's no hazards and water hazards and bunkers and this. But if you virtually put it in your mind, you've got all these markers out there. So try and place the ball between the markers, then you're on the fairway, right? That kind of makes logical sense. It's called a virtual round of golf. So technically you've taken 100 golf balls and played a virtual round of golf, including a warm-up, and your full 18 holes of golf. So how this would work is that your first 36 golf balls, if you see that you're running through them quite quickly, then that means that on a par 5, you've maybe used 4 golf balls to get onto that green, and you move on to the next hole. So like I said, we're averaging 2 putts per hole. So once you feel that you're confident, like let's say for example your drive was, the par 5 was 500 meters and your drive was 280 meters, you used a 3-wood which clocked about 180 meters, and you got 40 meters to the green, and you chipped onto the green with your, so that's why I say each club comes out of the bag. That's why I say I practice my short game at home. I'm not going to go waste time at the driving range. I want to play a virtual round of golf where I feel that I've taken out my 3-iron, I've taken out my driver, I've taken out my wedge, you know, so that it makes it feel as if I've hit every different shot, so that my body does not just get into tune with the driver, and then the moment when I move on to a pitching wedge, the thing starts slicing or hooking to the left, and then I'm getting frustrated at my driving range session, knowing for a fact that my body's in tune to hit the driver consistently. So you see, that's what I'm saying. If we're working on shaping the ball, draws, fades, and so forth, by all means, hit that driver 100 times if you have to, until you've perfected that shot. But I'm just saying, this is how I see it working for myself. As you will see, is that now, for example, on that par 5, let's say, for example, the par 5, you've now hit all 3 shots accurately. You get a little scorecard, and you say, okay, that was a par 5, 500 meters. This was my first shot. This was my second shot. Third shot. I'm happy. That's a par. So we round it off as a par. Because remember, we're not chasing birdies right now. We're chasing pars. So we're averaging 2 putts per hole. It's just to build a virtual round in our minds. Because what we want to do is try and get to 72. Right? So what will happen is that as you're hitting the golf balls, you'll see that, let's say for example, after that par 5 on your scorecard, we're straight onto a par 3, for example. You take out and you see the par 3 is maybe 180 meters, and you know for a fact that with your 3-iron I can get about 180 meters. So if you've hit the ball with your 3-iron and you've picked out a target and you see the ball land at that target, you can assume I'm on the green, right? Just give yourself some confidence to say, okay, the ball went exactly where it was supposed to go. It carried the distance of about 180 meters, maybe 190 meters, so it's at the back of the flag. I'm putting back towards the flag. It's 2 putts. I'm at the hole. It's a par. So far we've parred the par 5, we've parred the par 3. I'm within regulation of the number of golf balls I've set aside to get onto the green, right? So what this then breaks down to, and what this actually comes down to, you will see that as soon as you start eating into the golf balls you've set aside for putting, then and you're creeping and you're not getting closer to your 18th hole, and you're already, like let's say for example on hole 12, and you're already starting to eat into your golf ball set aside for putting, know that your score is already over 72 and you're reaching the, like 80s and close to the 90s, for example. And that virtual round might just help you gauge your game, might just help you lower your scores, because it's going to force you to strike your irons, your driver, your fairways, your hybrids, your ironwood. It's going to force you to basically play that virtual round as best as possible, because we do not want to touch that last 36 golf balls. So let's say for example you're a good golfer and you've now completed your virtual round. Your scorecard is there. You've parred every hole. Let's say you shot your 72 virtually, and you still got your 36 golf balls left for putting. That is where you will take your data and say, okay, fine, I didn't feel confident with the driver. It didn't go as far as possible. So because there's 36 golf balls, say for example there were 4 clubs or 6 clubs, right? Or even 2 clubs that you just felt that needed a little bit more attention. Divide that 36 golf balls into 2. Now you take the balance of your golf balls, and now you have the fun of shaping the golf ball, hitting draws, trying to make sure we gauge that, so that this is preparation for your round. So think about it. Professionals get onto the golf course a week ahead of time. We don't have that luxury to go to a week ahead of time and be like, oh, I'm playing here next week or this weekend. I just need to come and test the course out. We don't have that luxury. So do yourself the favor. I actually do this myself. I said to myself when I get to the driving range, I have a school golf day coming up on the 31st of August at Eagle Canyon. I've never golfed at Eagle Canyon. My mission before this weekend is to get a layout of what Eagle Canyon's golf course looks like, the distances of the holes, so I can go and play my virtual round at the driving range and see which irons I need to use where. I'm actually going to jot it down in my mind or physically say, okay, fine, I used the 3-iron here, I got this distance. It's not guaranteed I'm going to hit the exact same shot when I get there, but it's just more or less a little mindset change to say that, listen, I've prepared for this round of golf. I've actually taken a bit of time. I played about 3 or 4 holes. So let's say, for example, before the round, you just want to warm up and things like that. It's a great thing to do. You're at the course, they've got a little driving range. Go out there, get a small bucket of 30 golf balls, play 2 holes quickly. 2 or 3 holes and say, okay, fine. And I mean, come on. Like I said, if it's a par 5, it's 3 balls. If it's a par 4, it's 2 balls. If it's a par 3, it's 1 ball. I mean, you've used 6 balls in total out of a bucket of 30. So you can actually just quickly warm up. Instead of just warming up, hitting one shot after the other with a pitching wedge or a driver, try and play a quick virtual round in your mind. Just trying to remember what this course looks like. And that's how I would warm up before my round actually. But knowing for a fact I'm only playing at the end of the month, I've got 2 weekends to get this covered in. So the next 2 weekends coming up, next 2 Sundays, is virtual rounds of golf at the driving range, perfecting the course. Because remember, we're playing the course, we're not playing our clubs. So now you're standing there knocking the driver 100 times. That's for when I have unlimited golf balls, when I have nothing else to do with my time and I just want to perfect my drive. That's what I do when I have unlimited golf balls. When it comes to 100 golf balls and I have a round of golf coming up and I know I've got time to put in at the range, virtual round of golf is the way I go. And to tell you the honest truth, the last virtual round of golf I played, and like I said, I don't cheat. You don't cheat yourself. If you see that you've thinned the ball with your wedge, put it in your mind to say, that ball skid across the green. I need to hit it back. So now I need to take another shot. Put it into your mind that there's bad shots, there's good shots. You're not just going to hit 72 magically. If you're duffed or if you chunked or whatever you want to call it. If you've hit a bad shot, jot it down and say, listen, that was shot number 1. There's no backsies, there's no takebacks, there's no nothing. Even if the ball lands a meter away from you, it counts as a shot. We need to go back, get another club, but give it a try. Like I said, what works for me might not necessarily work for the next person. And this is just how I actually thought of it, to say, you know what, how can I actually get the most out of my driving range session when I actually get out there? So do I just stand there hitting ball after ball after ball after ball after ball with the same club and then move on to the next club, and then by the time I strike the first ball with that club, ball slicing and hooking and you're like getting upset with yourself, but not knowing for a fact that if I just played it as, because I mean, think about it, are you going to play a round of golf with your driver alone if we're hitting 10 shots consistently? So that means I'm going to tee off with the driver off the deck on the fairway with the driver, and I'm going to putt with the driver at the same time. I don't think so. That's why I said, I thought about it and I said, I don't play with the same club from tee to green completely. I have to change it up. And that's when I said, you know what, I'm changing my style when I get to a driving range, because I want to get the most out of my driving range experience. And obviously you're paying money for these things. So I just said, I want to get value for money. I don't get to golf as often as possible. Why not play a virtual round? It's challenging for myself. I work on my short game at home. Like I said, I hit chip after chip after chip at home. So that part of the game and my putting, you putt inside your house consistently. See you guys on Friday. This is Michael from 4Ball Golf. Till next time, guys. Let me know if you've hit the range this week before Friday. Let me know if it worked out for you, if you didn't. But anyway, thank you so much for joining. Cheers, guys.